Hello everyone, my name is Diaconu Maxim and I'm professor at the Faculty of Economics and Business Administration, Alexandru Ioan Cuza, University of Iași, Romania. And the paper I'm going to present you today is entitled Integration of Muslim Immigrants in Europe, Challenges and Opportunities. The broad meaning of integration involves several aspects, such as the process of settlement of newcomers in a given society, the interaction of these newcomers with the host society, or the social changes that follow this process. Therefore, immigrants must find a job and a home, be able to access health facilities and schools for their children, and find a place in a social and cultural sense as they have to establish cooperation and interaction with other individuals and groups in society. All these aspects can be summarized in three distinct dimensions in which people may or may not become accepted as part of the society, namely legal, political, socio-economic and cultural religious facets. These dimensions are assumed to work as a two-way process. On one hand, migrants adapt and change, and on the other hand, the whole society does not remain unaffected. These dimensions correspond to the three main factors that interplay with immigration and integration processes: the state, the market, and the nation. The European migratory flows after the Second World War were three. The first one starts after the Second World War immediately and lasts up to the oil crisis in 1973-1974. The migratory flows were strongly guided in this period by the differences in economic development between regions characterized by pre-industrial agrarian economies and those with highly industrialized economies. The process of the second period started with the oil crisis, which stimulated the economic restructuring, sharply reducing the need for labor, and ended with the fall of the Iron Curtain in the late 1980s. During this period, despite the efforts of the northwestern European governments to restrict migration, the number of foreign residents kept rising due to the fact that many migrants started to bring their families to Europe, and also in this period the asylum applications increased. The third and last period starts from the fall of the Iron Curtain until today. This last period was marked by increasing European Union influence and control of migration from the third countries into the member states, encouragement of intra-European mobility as a consequence of the 1992 Maastricht Treaty abolition of borders, integration issues became a central policy concern, and some legislative aspects of the integration of immigrants. In November 2004, the European Union Council adopted a set of basic principles in order to promote a common European vision regarding the integration of immigrants, principles that represent a starting point in the development of future policies in the field of integration. In 2005, the European Union communication, A Common Agenda for Integration Framework for the Integration of the Third Country Nationals in the European Union, in which the Commission states that involvement of stakeholders at all levels was essential for the success of integration process. A major shift in policy framing came in 2011 with a renewed European agenda for the integration of third country nationals, which added the countries of origin as a third key actor in the process of migrants' integration, thereby introducing the three-way process. Looking at the literature, we found several models corresponding to the political approach of the immigrants' integration in Europe. Some analysts identify three models, such as seasonal worker. It was identified in Germany, where the integration process is mainly determined by the needs of the labor market and the presence of immigrants is temporary. The assimilationist model in France, the immigration is permanent, immigrants being welcomed and given a legal status on the condition of assimilating the behavior patterns of the dominant culture, and the model of ethnic minorities, where immigration is seen as permanent, but immigrants are defined according to their ethnic and cultural origin. In recent years, it was a debate about the European social model. The European welfare states share common characteristics which together form this European social model: a shared commitment to security and social justice, full employment, universal access to healthcare services, education, adequate social protection for special cases of illness, maternity, old age, unemployment, and social assistance services to prevent poverty and social exclusion. Some empirical evidences from the European states regarding the integration of immigrants. National legislation regarding the integration of immigrants were adopted in the end of the last century in Finland, Denmark, and Netherlands, or in the beginning of 2000s in Austria and Germany. Here the legislation provides a general national framework regarding integration in which different actors undertake measures that consider local circumstances and the needs of individuals. In other member states, even if the legislation does not provide a special framework, some efforts were undertaken to develop a national policy that promotes integration. It was the case of Sweden, Finland, Denmark, and the Netherlands. In the beginning of 2000, Greece started to implement, as part of national policy regarding immigration, a national integration plan, which follows social integration of all legally resident immigrants. Spain developed a national plan aimed at integrating the immigrants in the beginning of 2000, named Global Program on Immigration. And since 1993, Luxembourg has had a law on the integration of foreigners, which establishes programs in order to facilitate the social, economic, and cultural adoption of foreigners. In conclusion, we may say that despite all these measures and policies adopted, European socio-economic realities show different degrees of inequalities and lack of immigrant integration, especially in the context of the recent refugee crisis. Thank you very much for your attention.